Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Gravatt. Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel, Jeff Garvatt Marketing. Ready for another edition of the legendary show, Let's Go Racin'. This one from July of 1997. It features a modified 76 lapper, a conversation with racing legend, the late Bob Howard Sr., plus much more here on Let's Go Racin'. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. People are watching every week and it makes me very happy. Please leave a comment. Also like the video if you do enjoy it. And please subscribe to the channel. That way you find out whenever we post a new Let's Go Racin'. I'd like to remind you too that I do marketing for auto racing, including sponsorship proposals, websites, as well as video production. If you do need to get a hold of me, the number is 732-278-3399. That's 732-278-3399. Also like to remind you, we are offering sponsor mentions on the program. You'll see them throughout the show. I'll talk to you about them a little bit more later on. But if you want to promote your sponsor, or if you're a sponsor and you just want to let people know that you're open, give me a call again at 732-278-3399. I'd like to mention too, I do have a website, jeffgravatt.com. Want to see more of what I'm doing? Check it out, jeffgravatt.com. Well, without further ado, on this beautiful sunny afternoon when we sit home instead of at the racetrack, let's take a look at action from 1997. 76 lap modified race and more. Here on Let's Go Racin'.
There were fireworks in the sky last weekend, and fireworks on the Speedway in the Independence 76. But what condition was everyone in when the action was over? We'll find out tonight. Hello everyone, welcome to TV 34's Let's Go Racin'. I'm Jeff Gravatt, and no, I'm not working on the pit crew for Bob Howard Sr. I'm just checking out the race car. Tonight on Let's Go Racin', we're going to talk to one of the legends of our sport, Bob Howard Sr. He's won here in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. My money says he'll win a main event in the 1990s as well. Along with talking to Bob Sr., we'll talk with Bob Jr., who is literally following in his father's footsteps. Now our own Harry Hurley will have an interesting guest, and we'll have all the racing action from July 5th, 1997. You know, we always have a lot to do, and tonight's show is special. We're going to get right to it right after this. The family name of Howard has been around Wall Stadium ever since it opened back in the 1950s. Of course, Bob Howard Sr. has raced many wins here, and his son, Bob Jr., has followed in the footsteps. He's been a feature race winner here as well. Bob Jr., thanks for coming on TV 34's Let's Go Racin'. Let's look at your career, your life in auto racing. How'd you ever get involved in the sport?
I've been coming here since I was 5 years old. My father used to throw me in the stands, get somebody to just watch me. It's like, here, watch my kid, I want to go in the pits. I've been coming here ever since then and just watching it, and that's how it all started.
All right, how about your driving career? When did you start driving and why?
I started racing in 1984. Charlie Quasia from C&M Auto Body built my first car. Pretty much just to shut my father up, because he was like, my father was like, oh, if I could get a car built for my kid, you know, I'd do it. So Charlie went, sorry. So Charlie was like, I'll build a car for your kid for $500. I don't even think you ever got paid knowing my father, but so that's how I got started. Charlie's been with me ever since day one from C&M. Very all good people.
All right, you've won a lot of races here at Wall Stadium. It takes a lot of good sponsors, a lot of good pit crew members. Tell us about them.
Okay, well, this year I have Rob Heyer, who's been unbelievable all year working on the car. I mean, he's just totally dedicated. up the garage 3-4 nights a week, nonstop, working on the car. Steve Gretzky comes here every week with us. Jimmy Marvin owns my father's car. He helps out. There's just a lot of good people. Like Joey Hauser helps us during the week when we have major problems like wrecking the car and so on and so forth.
All right, how about sponsors? Any sponsors on your race car, including your business, of course? Tell us about them.
Okay, well, our business is H&H Auto Wreckers in Morganville. We have a junkyard. That gives us all the hard parts like suspension and motor parts. We have Knuckleheads Racing Diecast Collectibles in Keyport, Union Beach area. We have Schwarzenberg Auto Sales in Parlin, C&M Auto Body, One Stop Racing, Julian's Auto Body. They're pretty much our main sponsors.
Now, you know, a lot of people say to me, what's up with Bob Howard Jr.? He comes out, he wins in the 17. Then he's out in the 22, he wins in the 22. Why are you always swapping cars?
Just something to do. As far as following my father's footsteps, I've been known to trip a few times, too. They're big.
Okay, you've got 2 feature wins thus far this year. You're up there in the point rankings. Are you looking at the points now that we're at the middle part of the season?
Not at all. I just want to come here, race every week, have some fun. Right now I'm third on the all-time win list behind Rich Manju and Gary Burton, who I think are 2 of the best drivers ever here. And just being that company is a big accomplishment for me.
All right, how about your plans for the future? You've been in the street stocks a long time. Why do you stay, and do you want to move to a different division? If not, why are you going to stay longer?
I like being a big fish in a small pond. It's what I can afford. I could be competitive here. To move up to the pro stocks, it costs so much more money, and to be mediocre in another division, I'd rather be better, somewhere smaller.
Hey, another question. We see your name on a lot of race cars, H&H Auto Wreckers. Why do you guys get so involved with this street stock division? Why do you give us so much support?
Well, you'd have to ask my father. That's why I was brought up. He's always told me if you can help somebody, you do it. You don't worry about what they can do for you in the long run. You just help whoever you can, whether it's, with parts, whatever.
One last question, then we're going to talk to your father. A lot of people think that your father is going to win a main event here in the 1990s. He's done it in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. What do you think? Can Bob Howard Sr. pull in the victory lane in the 1990s?
Well, I heard you say that you'd bet on him. I'd take the bet. How much you want to bet? Because I think he will. He's a great driver, in my opinion, anyway. And just takes a little bit of work, and he's a little bit on the lazy side, but we won't tell him I said that.
Bob Howard Sr., you've been a legend around Wall Stadium for a lot of years. How did you ever get started in auto racing, and why do you stick around?
I had $250 and I bought a race-ready car in 1955.
All right, what do you remember from that first year, 1955, and throughout your career? Tell us some good moments.
Some good moments. Good moments of being away from the old 80s, and just being able to do whatever we wanted to do. I mean, like we used to take in flat tow cars, no trailers, no rollbacks, none of the stuff I got today, no high buck stuff. You bought a tire and it lasted you for 2-3 years, not like every 2 weeks.
Now, your son said to us, we'd have to ask you. We see H&H Auto Wreckers on a lot of cars here. You're famous for your support of the street stocks. Why do you do it?
Every time I wreck somebody, I feel so bad. I put my name on them. That's why I have my name on every car but 2.
All right, which 2 cars don't you have your name on?
The 2 new ones just come in tonight.
All right, Bob Howard, a lot of people are betting on you to win a main event here in the 1990s. How close are you with car 34?
What's the odds? I'll take that bet, too. You think Tyson's going to beat Holyfield again? But, we keep trying. I mean, might as well tell like it is. My kid took my car out. My kid says, Dad, put it on the trailer.
Don't get a biting chance.
Yeah, we have a biting chance. Hey, no. We're just going to try. I mean, if it comes, it comes. If it don't, we'll just wait till next year. It ain't like we have to do it this year. No, we still got 70s left, or 90s left, or so what the hell it is. Harry, help me!
All right, Bob. Now, of course, you've raced a lot of years here at Wall Stadium. Why'd you land in the street stocks? Why have you stayed so long?
Well, the next move is probably go-karts. Because we come from the top down. We come from the modified to the sportsman to the street stocks. Next thing you need go-karts or bicycles, whatever the hell is easier. Probably not a bicycle, I'll fall off. But it's just that my son runs the class, and I enjoy running against him because it gives us something to do all week, fight. He's always telling me what I do wrong. which, I know, but I don't tell him I know. But we just have a good time. We work together, we do everything together, and we enjoy racing together, so that's it.
How about the other people that help you on the race car, your sponsors, your crew guys? Who are they?
That's misinterpreted. The other guys that help me, I don't do nothing. When I leave here Saturday night, I don't show up until Saturday next week. I have no idea who the hell works on the car. I know my son does. Because he called me from the... No, but Joe Diano used to take and help us when we had the modern stock. And he just come back to help us. And Jimmy owns a car. No, I don't know what his job is, though. He helps, he does something. My son is always working on it, trying to get something to work, but the car is just not coming around. Why? We have no idea. But sooner or later, if it comes around, it comes around. If it don't, we'll get something else.
All right, Bob, last question on a serious note. Couple of weeks ago here at Wall Stadium, of course, you're famous for joking and having a good time, but you get serious. An older couple in the parking lot had a good anti-theft device. In fact, they couldn't get the car started. They had a handicapped person with them. Bob Howard to the rescue along with Mike DeSantis. Couldn't get the car started. You offered to drive the folks home. It turned out to go to Philadelphia. Tell us about that and why'd you do it?
I had nothing to do with that. Erin O'Connor's, it was her. She drove me down here, and it was her car. So I couldn't have drove them home because I had no car. So Erin decided that let's take the people back home, which we did. And it was like a 5-hour round trip. And that was it. We were just glad to help. This can't be the end because Joe Lanzarius in the 996 in the old days, back in the 50s and 60s. He's sick. He's had a heart attack last night. So I'd like to help Joe get better. And that's about it.
Bob Howard, thanks for talking to us on Let's Go Racing. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a true legend. He likes to have fun at the racetrack, obviously, but he is serious and he's there to help out people. All of us in auto racing are proud to know Bob Howard Sr.
And I'm proud to know Jeff Garfinkel.
Thank you very much, Bob. And you know what? We're both proud to know Harry Hurley. He's going to talk to another racing legend right now, so I'm going to throw the mic to Harry Hurley.
Hey! Thanks very much, Jeff Gravatt, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I had the honor of talking to Mr. T.C. Cambra. T.C., good to see you, buddy. Tonight you're sponsoring the races, am I right?
Yes,
the trophies?
Sir, we are. Yes, we are.
Well, let's go back and go back to the beginning with you as automobile racing.
Well, I guess it started here at Wall Stadium in 1979. I was the track photographer. I started as track photographer then in 1979 Turkey Derby, and we continued on until we retired from that until 1990. My son had a dream. He wanted to drive a race car. He used to do the video. So we got together and me and him did a race car together. And this is the part of the operation right here.
Well, before you were the photographer here, you come to the races a lot or just fall in as photographer?
Oh no, we used to come every Saturday night from Elizabeth down here and come watch the races and see that. And we spent a good time in Wall Stadium. We were avid Gil Hearn fans, still are.
A lot of people were.
That's why you see the number 12 on the car. We did, thanks to Dave Innes' son, when he got out, he let us take the number because we really wanted a number because that number is basically for Gil Hearn. I just wish that we could do as good as him, but we keep trying and maybe one day we will.
Well, we owned the Gil Hearn car. One time we owned his Vega, or Pinto, I forget now, but we bought it off Gil Hearn, the number 12, and my son won his feature here in that.
Oh, I know. Your son bought a lot of pictures from me. In fact, some of your money's probably in this car.
Well, that's great. That's why you're in business, right?
That's right. We've been on our own in garage doors since 1994, and the business has grown leaps and bounds, thanks to racing fans and other people throughout there, and we really appreciate it. At Garage Door Express, we offer a full line of residential and commercial doors, residential operators, and a whole bunch of other products, security shutters. In fact, we're putting on some hurricane shutters for Tucker probably in 2 weeks here. I'm going to Florida to pick them up next week.
Well, that's great. And tonight you say you're sponsoring the trophies, right? And some extra money for the drivers?
Yes. We decided that, we're doing fairly well, so we decided to, let's give some money back to the racers here. They need it. Hopefully we won't wreck and I won't need it. So it's going well from there. I'd also like to thank my sponsors. Our major sponsor for this year is Atlantic Homes out of Manahawkin. He's one of the quality builders down there, and John and I both work for him. He's helped us out a lot this year. We have Sure Point Motorsports, Ed Tom Auto Body, Miller Building, who built the trailer for us 2 years ago, and a couple of little sponsors that help.
Well, once racing is in your blood, it stays there, doesn't it, John?
Yeah, that's true, but John drives the car. I'm TC.
Right, TC, my mistake again. Listen, tell me one other thing I just wanted to ask you. Hear a rumor you might have another car next year?
Yeah, no one knows about it yet, but it's sitting in the garage.
Okay. Well, TC, thanks $1 million for coming on with us tonight.
For being an old guy, our Harry Hurley was pretty energetic on Saturday night. He talked to another racing personality. Let's go back to Harry right now.
All right, Jeff Gravatt, thanks a lot, buddy. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to Joe the Animal. Joe?
How you doing?
Pleased to meet you. Joe, I know you got more of a name than Joe the Animal. What's your proper name?
Joseph Stephen Horvath from Fords, New Jersey.
And how long have you been involved in racing, Joe?
Oh, since the early 60s.
And you were with, other than Bob Howard Sr.?
Yes, a few others, but then I turned to Bobby Howard because he is a racer's racer.
You can tolerate him?
Yes, I can. Yes, he's a good racer. You give him a good car or a banged up car, he can still drive it.
Well, we're still looking for that feature win in the 90s, right?
Oh, yeah, he's going to get it. He'll be there. Don't worry about it. He'll be in a winner's circle. No doubt in my mind.
And what do? You work on in this pit crew? Is that what you do, Joe?
Yeah, I'm just starting back. I've been out for years now. I used to work on his modern stock for 7 years. I was the wrench. And then the owner sold the car, moved down south, and now he's in this one, and he talked me getting back into it again. We'll see what we can do to...
Well, it's an interesting hobby, right?
Oh, yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
And if you
Keep
worked
you busy and happy.
And if you worked on all the cars that Bob Howard's helped sponsor, they'd keep you busy every night of the week, wouldn't they?
Lose a lot of weight.
Well, we both could use that.
Yeah, they call it the Howard diet.
Well, he's a piece of work, and he's a pleasure to know. What they call him, the legend, right?
Yes, he is. He definitely is a good man.
And his son certainly is doing well.
Plant corn, you get corn.
Oh, that's cute. I like that one. So through the years, and you must have known some pretty, I've been here all these years, you must have known some drivers of note, right?
Oh, yeah, I know a lot, like Ray Abraham, which is crew chief for Jeff Gordon now. I know Tony Siscone, the Blewitts, going back Pete Frazee from Rotz's Garage in Caseby, the D'Angelo, Doc Morrow. I know a lot of the old-timers. I used to campaign Overage Stadium when it was open, all them guys.
You're talking about Ray Abraham. I did some interviews over at Ray Abraham's garage one night when we first had the Vintage Stock Car Club meeting there. I did, I think, 4 racing legends, Frankie Snyder, several other ones, and never thought to interview Ray Abraham.
Yeah, he's a legend in his own right.
I wish that we could get him,
Yeah. Well, he stops in now and then.
Yeah, well,
up here.
My son talks to him occasionally. I'm going to try to talk him come up to Wall Stadium one night.
Yeah, he's good people.
Well,
a lot of these racers are good people.
Well, that's the one thing I have found, that fine people in racing.
Yeah, very good people.
Well, listen, Joe, I thank you so very much for coming on Let's Go Racing with me. And ladies and gentlemen, one more time, this is Harry Hurley, and be the good Lord willing, we'll see you all again next week.
We'll get right back to Let's Go Racing in just a moment. I'd just like to remind you, we've always said support the sponsors who support your sport. Well, now it's more important than ever. Now, if you either have a business or you'd like to promote a sponsor's business, now's the time to get a hold of me at 732-278-3399. I'm sure you've been noticing some spots on the show for our sponsors of auto racing at Wall Stadium. So please, if you're interested, give me a call, 732-278-3399, to promote those sponsors, because we'll be back at the track before you know it. By the way, I spoke with Mrs. Krause this week, and she tells me the racetrack is ready to go, As soon as these sanctions are lifted, we'll be racing. She wants to thank you for your support of Wall Stadium. She says she misses everyone, and we'll be back soon. Okay, speaking of back soon, time to get back to this week's Let's Go Racing. Thanks again for watching.
John Manis Sr. in the 28 jumped to the lead at the start of last Saturday night's 12-lap Truck Series feature race with Brian Jost in the 99 close behind. This fight for first heated up quickly until the two vehicles touched on lap 5 and Manis spun the 28 from the lead. Tag Neal in the 19 was also involved as he ran into the Manis 28. On the restart, Brian Jost was off and running as he led the remainder of the contest, while point leader Chris Kilbride in the 34 throttled into second. Joe King in the 78 was third at the stripe, with Stanley Skank in the 7 fourth, and Tag Neal recovering for fifth in the 19. Mike Carpenter in the 72 and Kenny Johnson in the 20 were locked in a battle for the lead in the initial laps of the Garage Door Express Independent 76 for the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds last Saturday night. This battle continued through lap 17 when Eddie Bone in the 4 spun in the fourth turn but continued without a caution. Bone may have been the luckiest man on the track because he dropped a lap to Carpenter. But then Mike Brennan forced a yellow with a spin of his own number 55. With the running order going back to the last completed lap, Eddie Bone went to the rear of the pack on the lead lap. Carpenter and Johnson still battled on the restart, and the war continued until Robert Schlettweg in the 11, Dan McLaughlin in the 38, and Mark Rogers in the 44 tangled on lap 20. Mike Carr in the 99 joined the lead fight on the restart and ran strong until fading around lap 30. Dave Garfinkel in the 21 then moved into the top three. Jeff Loesch in the 1 slowed the pace on lap 37 when he stopped on the racetrack, before Jim Hawk stopped the race cold on lap 39 when he hammered the guardrail exiting turn 2. Although rescue workers took several minutes to remove Hawks from the car and treat him at the scene before transporting him to the Jersey Shore Medical Center, he was released later in the evening with nothing more than bruises and a cut on his chin. Dave Garfinkel overhauled Kenny Johnson for second on the restart and immediately went after Mike Carpenter's 72. Dave Michael in the 60 then had trouble to slow the action on lap 45 before Robert Sutphin spun the 50 on lap 49. Dave Garfinkel immediately went back to work on Mike Carpenter before finally getting by when Carpenter lost the handle momentarily late in the race. Dave Garfinkel was unstoppable from that point on, even though Jim Bruno brought out a caution late in the race with a spin. Garfinkel crossed the finish line first for the big win, while Robert Schlettweg in the 11 overcame early troubles for second. Eddie Bone in the 4 also made a comeback for third, while Mike Carpenter settled for fourth and Dan McLaughlin in the 38 was fifth. Dave Garfinkel, a big win in the modified 76 lapper. A lot of people in Victory Lane. You must have a lot of people to thank.
Yeah, I do. We have Weather Vane Services, Mr. Keys, and Jim's Radiator Shop. Help us a big deal, keep us going, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do it this year.
You know, you seem surprised there in Victory Lane. A bonus from the Garage Door Express. I guess that's going to help.
Oh, yeah, that was great of him to do that, and it's really great that people like that are interested enough to help us out, because you can't get enough money when it comes to racing. You'll have some good weeks, and then when you have the bad weeks, it sure does drain the money real fast.
All right, let's get to this good week here. You're running strong. Tell us how you got up to the front, and then how'd you get the lead?
I guess traffic went pretty good. I was getting my brakes, getting to the guys, and everybody raced me clean. I didn't have any problems. I got to Mike Carpenter, and I followed him long enough. I thought I was a gentleman long enough with him, and I give him a little extra nudge. I got him a little out of shape, but I didn't dump him, and that's how I got the lead.
All right, now tires were a big concern to a lot of people. A long race, how did your tires hold up? How good or how bad was the car at the end of the race?
The car was better at the end than in the beginning. I was faster at the end of the race. It surprised me because I had run pretty hard in the first half, harder than I wanted to. But you get racy, and sometimes you forget that you got to go a double distance race. And I was surprised at the end of the race it was better than the beginning.
All right, Garden State Classic, 100 laps coming up in a couple of weeks. There'll be lap money in that one, more purse money. Does this give you momentum going into that event?
Oh, yeah, because this week here we had a bigger fuel cell in the car. Being the big races are coming up, we had to run more fuel. So we put the thing in the car, and it didn't change it any. So we're good to go, I hope, just with some luck, and if things go right, we'll be all right for next week.
The pro stocks were really flying in their 25-lapper as it went from start to finish without a caution. Rookie George Andretti in the 29 jumped to the front at the green flag, with Tom Nascone his first challenger in the 25. Meanwhile, Billy Cole, in the patriotic red, white, and blue 76, was charging in the third. Cole raced in the second by lap 6 and then sized up the leader for several laps. Cole finally made his winning move at the halfway mark and never looked back. George Andretti held on for an impressive second-place finish, while point leader John Ruggiero in the 21 was third. John Thurkelson drove the yellow 4 home fourth, and Ray Gastellu in the 69 was fifth. Billy Cole, another win, win number 5. You must have a lot of people you want to thank.
Yeah, I have to thank all my sponsors. New Car Connections down Delaware, Dick's Auto Body, Flowtech Engines, TJ's Pizza, Brickstarter and Alternator, Van Sand Equipment, Advanced Chiropractic, Donasto & Son Building Supply, the whole mess.
All right, how about that race? How'd you get to the front? How'd you stay out there?
I was just kind of patient towards the end there, and George was getting a little nervous, I think, and I just waited for him to make a hole for me.
All right, once you got out front, did you have any problems at all? It looks like you were flying.
Yeah, the car was working real good tonight. I just cruised after that. Once I had in the lead, just nothing to it.
All right, once you got in victory lane, extra gift there from Garage Door Express. Is that going to help you out, 75 bucks?
I want to thank them. That's really greatly appreciated.
All right, final thing. It's the 4th of July weekend. You're famous for the red, white, and blue Spirit of 76. When you came in here today, did you know you're going to win that main event?
Oh, you never know, but it's nice to hope you win anyway.
Tommy Farrell in the 75 and Todd King in the 48 struggled for the lead at the outset of the 20-lap street stock nightcap, before title contender Craig Wallace in the 77 ended his night early in the first turn. Farrell and King were side by side on the restart and stayed that way until Ron Booth in the 65 and Bob Howard Jr. in the 22 locked bumpers on lap 5. King raced to the front on the restart, while Farrell spun on the front stretch and was nailed by Bob Howard Sr. in the 34. Dave Kelton in the 10 also had trouble on the backstretch to slow the action. King had a new challenger on the restart as Bill Rondo in the 23 moved to his outside. Action then slowed for the final time when John Hummel spun his 88 in turn 1. Bill Rondo rocketed to the front on the restart, but point leader Rich Monjo in the 57 was flying as he charged into the fight. Rondo and Monjo battled side by side for several laps before Rich Monjo in his 57 finally inched to the front for good. Bill Rondo in the 23 held on for second, while Bill Vanderveen finished third in the 19. Todd King in his 48 settled for fourth, and Bob Geiger in the 28 was fifth. Rich Monjo, a tough win tonight, all the way from the back. How'd you get to the front?
Well, we had a lot of luck tonight, Jeff. We dodged about 4 or 5 bullets tonight, and last couple restarts, we lined up on the outside. The car was working real good out there, and we inched our way up front. Things went around, went our way.
How about that pass on Bill Rondo? Was that a tough one? He was a quick competitor.
It took about 4 laps to get by him. Like I said, I just inched my way a little bit at a time, and I think he got a little bit loose, and I just got a real good bite off the turn and edge forward on him, and that was about it.
Tell you what, it looked like a big victory lane celebration to us. You must have a lot of people you want to thank.
Yeah, well, I'd like to thank Garage Door Express for adding $50 to the feature tonight. They supported the 50 lap for the street stocks. They're good people. Design Safe Landscape, he's on our car. Kevin takes care of us real well this year. H&H Auto Wreckers, we had to put a couple horns on the car so far this year, and they take care of us with that. Osborne Auto Wreckers over in Howell, A-frame spindles. MTI Diesel helped out this year. R&H Spring, give us a new right rear spring for the car.
Well, the Independence Day holiday weekend is over at the Jersey Shore, but we're going to cover all the action right through the summer into the fall here on TV 34's Let's Go Racing. I'm Jeff Gravatt. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll have the action every Saturday night from Wall Stadium here on Let's Go Racing.